Okay. So, I've got VS Code open here. I've closed all of the stuff and couple of things you're going to want to do. You're going to want to make sure you have all your Java extensions. So this is the little extensions button here, and you can just type Java up here. Um, It'll come up with some popular extensions. So if you don't have it, you can click install. I have a whole bunch of these. The one you want is the extension pack for Java. This comes with a whole bunch of stuff. The language support, the debugger, the test runner, Maven, project manager, blah, blah, blah. Comes with a whole bunch of different things, IntelliCode. So this looks really good. Go ahead and install that. There's other stuff we could install if we end up needing it, but that's your basic thing. This is your extensions, and you can have it search for extensions. So I've got that installed. You may need to restart VS Code when that's done. That's fine. Just restart VS Code. No big deal. Once you've got that done, you're going to go up here to your Explorer. I'm going to go ahead and kill that. And then down here, we have Create Java Project. So create. Now, we're just going to do no build tools. This will just set up the simplest possible setting you could get. In the future, we're going to do Gradle projects. Gradle is a build management tool for Java. Um, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that you're going to make new Gradle projects so much as you'll just like clone GitHub repositories that I have set up already that'll have all the Gradle tools in there. But we'll see, how that goes. Anyway, I'm just going to go with new build tools. So I'm going to be like this one, and it's going to ask me where do I want to put it. I'm going to put it in 220 Java test. I'm going to select this as the project location. Now it's going to ask me for a project name. I'm going to call it test one. I don't know. So now, as you can see, um, it keeps trying to get me to watch starter videos and do various things. I am going to just close this and not do any of that. This is what I care about, test one. So if we look at this, there's kind of a pretty good structure here. So if we open up VS Code settings, this double curly brackets here just means that it's JSON. That's like the sort of visualization they have for that. These are just key value pairs. So, project source paths is source, project output path is bin, project reference libraries is lib **/star.java. This just means in the lib folder, no matter how many subfolders there are, the star is like a wild card. Anything that starts with star and ends with jar. So not anything that starts with star, any letters at all followed by jar. So essentially any jar file that's in the lib folder, that's this folder, is going to get added uh to your source libraries, meaning that when you compile, it's going to sort of include that. So if you have particular code in a jar file that you need, you could just drop it in there. Bin is where it's going to put the class files, and source, and this is in square brackets. So this is just a list of things. Right now, it's just source. So if we open up source, what do we see? App.java. So let's click on that. And of course, what's interesting here, this is just hello world. Now you saw this pop up down here. Bam, it compiled it. So it created the bin folder and put the class file here. You can't really view class files because they're binary. They're not fully binary, but a big chunk of it's binary. I'm not going to try to view it, but just sort of showing you that's where the class files are going. This is where app is located. This is the Java file. This is just, hello world. Now, if we want to run this, there's a few ways we can do that. Where is, oh, here we go. Run and debug. I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. That's not what I want to do. Um, there was like a really convenient button around. I hope it's not up here. Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, you probably can't see this, but there's a run button right here. My face is probably covering the run button. Son of a gun. It's a little arrow. Click that. This pops up. Bam, it runs, and then there's hello world. Now, a few things we can look at. The first thing is it's sort of like plopping out a whole bunch of command line stuff for us. We could type in a bunch of different commands, and at various points we might. But right now, this is just sort of automating all of that for us. So it's popping open a terminal and then running this. This should work on Windows as well, believe it or not. Somebody tested on Windows and let me know. It'll definitely work on Macs, and if you're running Linux, it'll certainly work on Linux as well. Um, I need to fix my shell. I'm not going to do that now. So this goes ahead and sort of gets things to run. That's basically running this class file and so on. So this is like kind of the simplest way to get things started in this. Oh, cool. This README file, this .md stands for Markdown. It's just a text format that can get turned into like HTML or other things like that. Um, Let me go ahead. I have a, let's see, open preview. Yeah, I have this is what it would look like. I have a Markdown Reader installed as one of my extensions. So you can kind of see like this is typically like how it would get rendered, but you can just kind of write it in text like this, and then it gets rendered kind of like this, which can be done again with HTML or with, I could turn it into a Word document, various other things like that. So this is just kind of telling you the structure of this. So this is pretty good. Just for a quick project. Now, what I want to do here is I actually want to take the code from class where we did the Happy Vet example and go ahead and go through that and show you how to do this with a priority queue, because we just did it with straight up queues. Before I do that, I'm going to end this video just because this is sort of just the preliminaries for getting things started. Now, if you wanted to add more code, you would just kind of stick it in here and, life would be grand. One other thing I should show you, which is suppose we want packages. So if you, well, let's see, how does that actually work? Let's do, well, let's see, let's do it here. New, what does this say? New file, new folder, refresh, blah, blah, blah. New text file. Well, oh yeah, you know what? This is just viewing it as like an editor up here. If you open it up down here, now it knows it's a Java project. So there's the source. So this new here, yeah, we can add stuff. Class, interface, enum, record, all this cool stuff. I want to add a new class, and I want to let's see if I can say like edu.nox.jspacko.test. Let's see if it understands that. It did actually, and it created the whole class structure. The whole, oh, it kind of didn't. So it understood the package. That's really cool. And then it has the test here. Um, but it doesn't understand that this is a folder hierarchy. Maybe I can add a package to this. Oh, I can. Oh. Wait, maybe this, I'm gonna test this. If I look up here, yeah, this is the folder hierarchy. Edu, Knox, JSpacko. Awesome. See? This understands it. Boom. Everything here is great. Watch this. Watch this. Public. Oh, hey. Thank you, GitHub Copilot. And I can just click run. Boom. We have another hello world. So we have two hello worlds, but one of them's in a package and one of them isn't. So if you want to work with packages, boom, this all understands it. So this is how all the cool kids are doing their coding these days. They're doing it with VS Code. Another good thing about VS Code is whatever language you're doing, if you're doing Python, if you're doing Ruby, if you're doing C Sharp, if you're doing, I don't know, whatever else, Haskell, Clojure, whatever language you're doing, VS Code's going to have extensions for it. It's going to have probably some kind of integrated build stuff for it, and so on and so forth. So, plus you got this really cool ability to have terminals running just sort of directly in VS Code. VS Code can pipe commands down to this terminal like it's doing here, but you can just type commands in here, kind of however you want. It's a really good editor. It's actually pretty good for Java development. It's probably not quite as full featured as something like Eclipse, but again, Eclipse is really just only good at Java. And if you're switching to another language, like if you're taking CS208 and you're going to learn C Sharp and Python and Ruby, whichever one we're doing, I'm not really sure, Clojure or Haskell or something like that, you're going to learn these other languages. VS Code can just do all of that. You don't need to sort of leave VS Code. Plus you can edit Markdown, you can edit HTML. If you're doing JavaScript, VS Code can do that pretty well. So it's kind of the editor. And it's interesting because it's a big open source project from Microsoft. There was a time I remember in the 90s and 2000s, like Microsoft was like, oh no, we can't do open source. How times have changed. I remember in the 2000s, like late 90s, early 2000s, we were all like, oh my gosh, Microsoft's the bad guy. They're the big kid on the block. Um, Google barely existed. Facebook didn't exist. Amazon sold books. That's about it. It's like a very different world. And Microsoft was the big bully. And now, oh my, how times have changed. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna stop this and then pop open um the example and then work on the example to show off how to use priority queues.